Report. It's Brian here, and folks, just in the nick of time, we are here live at 5. How do I like that? It's a nice little rhyme here. And of course, today we're talking about all kinds of great stuff here, but most definitely in the back porch edition today, as opposed to being on the front porch. A little bit less glare. And folks, I'm here to say it is another glorious day, and I'm so thankful for it. So I hope you are too. But today, the topics of conversation deal with gold, deal with maybe some of the meanness in the news, and of course Q&As about whatever else you're interested in talking about here. And of course, my only thought is to keep things clean, keep things maybe family friendly, if you will. And of course, most of all, let's make sure that we're making some meaningful connections here, because who on earth wants to run a YouTube channel where people are cruel and mean and really say things that don't have a lot of value, nor do they help move anybody's game forward? So with that, today, of course, if you followed along, I went ahead and dropped my long form video. Today we're talking about some things that I thought were pretty meaningful, and of course those meaningful things dealt with, hey, if you are of a certain age, hey, are you burning up your finances in ways you don't even realize it, or are you not even keeping up with inflation? And of course, this dealt with a couple of key themes, and one of those were real estate. For instance, if you own real estate, you should be in the market right now as opposed to being out of the market. That is, unless you are in the process of downsizing, and I realize some people might be downsizing. Of course, a huge demand on people who want to get into the market, period. But that's part of the equation. And of course, with that, with that, of course, owning a piece of real estate really is a way to keep up with the inflation cycle. And it's kind of scary to say that, but really, really important that if you are in a position where you can ride the wave. Of course, there still is opportunities out there, but not like they used to be. Of course, there aren't a lot of people downsizing, at least not yet. Hey, welcome to the Economic Report. Glad to have you here, partner. And of course, we're talking about a couple ways to beat the economic inflation cycle. And if you're with me, go ahead, hit a thumbs up and hit a like, and maybe you subscribed already. If so, you got today's video that I dropped already. And hey, there you are. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the Economic Report, pal. And once again, it's people like you that make things happen. Of course, we're talking today about a theme of making sure you're keeping up with inflation. One of the things we spoke about dealt with going ahead and making sure you purchased a piece of real estate, right? Preferably one you can live in or one that you can rent out to others. And if you're doing that, I'm a child, well, then we know that you're really making a move here. So that's one of the things that we're looking at here. Of course, well, what are the other ways to keep up with the inflation cycle? And of course, the other thing we said was, hey, buying stock. Yes, being in the market has proved time and time again to ride out the wave of inflation that is out there. And of course, this week it appears as though the Federal Reserve has moved to drop inflation like a quarter of a percentage point right now. I'm sorry, drop the interest rates a quarter of a point right now. Hey, welcome to the Economic Report. Thank you for joining me. And sure enough, the Fed seems much more worried about the job market and less worried about a 3% inflation cycle. And the ideal situation, they would be at 2% inflation or less. But the way things are looking right now, that is not their primary concern, because, of course, the trailing indicators were, well, jobs are not being added like they thought they would be. And maybe the other part of the story is now that those jobs aren't being added, they're saying that they need to do something and do something quick to try to get things jump started here, because you've had like 2 months, possibly a third downward revision in jobs added. Hey, you guys are amazing. You're joining here, and thank you for liking and subscribing, and thank you for being a part of this channel. So, we said real estate keeps up with inflation. Of course, number two, the stock market keeps up with inflation, but I want to make sure that we're getting the other piece here that's really, really powerful. And that part is really the overall investment in you, yourself, your talents, your interests, and something you have direct control over, whether it is a side hustle, whether it is something that is scalable. You own a product, you own a service that you're putting out there. Those things are never, ever going to go out of style. So the idea is, how do you beat inflation? Well, said real estate. We said another number two, stocks, and number three, an investment in yourself in a product or a service that you have direct control over, right? And today's video, I actually had Warren Buffett on there, and Warren Buffett was talking about, hey, they bought a company that they got for a discount, and this company is that keeps on giving, and it was See's Candy. And I'm like, hey, this is a perfect thing. And my viewers need to hear this. So with that, make no question about it. Gold is up right now at somewhere just under $3,700. I think today's quote that I just looked at before I got on the with the economic report was right around 36.50 per ounce, which is really, really near historical highs. But there is the specter of uncertainty out there, without a doubt, is driving those gold prices, and they're suggesting that these things really could get up closer to like $5,000 an ounce. So I'm throwing that out there to you as well. So that is the first part of the show, and of course, with that, other precious metals, things like palladium, platinum, yes, even silver is seen as a precious metal as well. Those are going to be great stories to continue following, and we promise to do that for you at the Economic Report. Hey, free Palestine. Well, you know what, my dear friend, I'm just praying for some peace over there, because I hate seeing the violence that goes on over there. So you are right on the money. We most definitely want to see some peace there, and of course, the good book says to love your neighbor, right? And uh, the only way there'll be peace is if there are people out there who really do show restraint, um, to not carry on long time rivalries that just won't go away, right? Um, and with that, maybe the other question is, make people understand that they have a direct impact on whether there is or whether there isn't violence over there. But without a doubt, we'd love to see peace and a different narrative over in the Middle East, which really kind of brings us on to our next portion. And it's like violence in the news cycle. And maybe it's the stuff that gets people to click, maybe gets them to listen, maybe gets them to watch. Without a doubt, I want to make sure that my viewers are aware that the media that is out there is in the attention business, and that is maybe the most basic premise we have. The TV, the radio, and yes, even some of the people out there in social media uh, are out there to do one thing, that's to get you to pay attention. And of course, uh, we want to make sure that people are in a position where they're just aware that, like, without a doubt, they're constantly trying to get you to click, to pay closer attention, and to follow one of their headlines. And what's even more scary is the way the media works is they're constantly trying to gauge your algorithm. Yes, folks, every single one of us have an algorithm inside, just like a computer is constantly trying to gauge what you click, what gets your attention, and they tend to repeat those over and over again based on who you are, what interests you, and quite often there's probably about 50 to 100 words that are used on a regular basis that get people to click, that get you to pay attention, and of course, keep you super engaged. And oftentimes, it's fear based, emotional based, anger based words that keep people coming back, keep people clicking. And boy, it's not good for anybody. And I'm here to say that this is one thing I promised this channel wouldn't be, is one about anger, nor about violence, nor about outrage, or about trying to manipulate somebody's actions and behaviors. Instead, we just wanted to keep things real. And of course, that's kind of a place to spend time here, just a little bit of time every single day, but make sure that we're clicking with the people that matter. And of course, that's really what the economic report was all about. We take Wall Street economics, we take DC politics, and we bring things down in a meaningful way here on Main Street, without the hype and definitely without the negativity, nor the emotional twisting, nor torture that takes place. And that's kind of what this channel has been all about from the beginning. And I'm glad that we have a good channel, or we have a growth channel, not astronomical growth. I never was after that to begin with, but of course, when people like and subscribe, they are really saying yes to this kind of a channel, as opposed to one where it's a rage page, or it's another type of social media experience that, to be honest with you, I was never interested in. I'd much rather be good to my viewers, and be good and make sure that whatever they do on the 15, 20 minutes or so of these lives, that we're really making a meaningful connection, and we're not going off the rails, right? Um, I want to see powerful relationships, good relationships, and maybe at the end of the day, ones that send people in the right mind space, as opposed to going off the rails. And all of us are aware that this really does exist in September 18th in 2025, that we do see those rage pages out there. Who the heck wants to be part of that? That's not what we want, and I don't really think that's what society needs. So I'm not here to argue with people as much as just to maybe be a thoughtful, mindful a person who tries to go ahead and get people pointed in the right direction, and maybe raise awareness of what's really going on there, when it comes to getting all the other people's emotions wrangled up, getting their attention wrangled up, and getting people angry, and then releasing them and hoping that, hey, I hope things work out. Whatever, whoever this person just listened to me, watched me, and of course, maybe, just maybe, we're not too far away from seeing a situation where there's actually some degree of accountability given to these social media channels. I'm really super curious if there will be a lawsuit. Back in the 80s and 90s, there was a number of lawsuits, and they were all based on people getting these ideas stuck in their head based on music. And these artists, like, without a doubt, were taken to task on what they were putting out there. And I'm curious whether or not there's another one of those that could possibly come out, or maybe, just maybe, big media, big social media has found a way to navigate through these waters so nobody gets sued anymore for whatever takes place on their page. And I'm here to say that if that's the case, and you know that you're willfully doing damage to people, you're setting people off mentally, emotionally in the wrong direction, then geez, what kind of a page is it? What kind of a platform is it? And what kind of a channel is it? And of course, that's here at the Economic Report. Once again, we try to look out for our viewers and make sure that we really have meaningful discussion and do the things that I think help point people in a better direction here. Because I want to remind you here, at the very end of the day, the biggest battle we're constantly fighting is the one between our ears, over our thoughts, our action, our attitude, right? And if there's one thing you can do today, make somebody's day, smile, say hello, and say something kind to them, because we can do a lot more to spread kindness in the world. And one thing we really don't want to do is be part of the problem. Lord willing, we are part of the solution. And with that, this is kind of the channel we want to be. It's the group we want to be, and it's part of the reason why I go live on a regular basis. And of course, it's why I'm constantly putting out good content, meaningful content to help people help themselves, right? And that's what the Economic Report is all about. So please make sure you are liked and subscribed. YouTube loves when you do this. Hey, Dylan, glad to have you here. And with that, folks, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for joining me at the Economic Report.